Hello, everyone. This is Mason Rashtian with another episode of the SCV Law and Life podcast. Today, we have James Reape of Reape-Rickett Law Firm out in the Santa Clarita Valley, which is the biggest firm in our community. Hi, Jim.
Hey there, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today. I don't look like this often, but I consider this is probably the best way for me to appear, at least on pictures.
Hey, no problem. Just be comfortable. Today, we're just going to be talking and just going to be us more than anything else. That's it. Just be yourself.
I can't be anything but.
So I've known you for a little bit. Obviously, my office been here around for a long time. Yours has been here longer. So let's talk about you. Let's tell us your background about the firm, and then we'll talk about you a little bit.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, this was a big move for me. I started out as a civil litigator, almost a general practitioner, doing a lot of different stuff, and it eventually was not fulfilling. The money was really good, but it wasn't really very professionally fulfilling. So I left. I left this old platform of building a firm in the city. It was just too time consuming building a family here. And I sat and tried to figure out, well, what really fed my soul? And it was in family law that I felt the intimacy of working with an individual rather than a corporation, and help them navigate through possibly one of the most difficult situations in their life to come out the other end. So I found that as something that would be fulfilling, and built from there by taking in Dave Rickett, great guy, miss him terribly.
I remember Dave. Me and Dave used to be in a group together. We used to be in Le Tip when I first opened my office. I remember Dave very well.
I did Le Tip when it was Santa Clarita Valley Le Tip, and we met at Marie Callender's with this guy, Ken Peterson, who drove up from San Diego. Le Tip was his, I guess, design, and he started with a slideshow. So what now is the Santa Clarita Valley Business Group is the later generation of the Le Tip. Started probably about almost 40 years ago at this point. And year one, I was vice president, going way back. I found these things. I love these organizations, and I've joined a few of them over the years. And every single time, I get too busy to function effectively in one of these settings, and I have to bow out. But they were so instrumental in building a business. I mean, the reality is, I would think any given Friday I'd be sitting there and I'm like, yeah, absolutely nothing's happening. I'm wasting my time. So just the way that my brain works is I picked up pen and paper and started doing some math, and I created this like tree. Look at your family tree, and I followed all the branches about what came from Le Tip and what came from the clients that I got from Le Tip, and just followed it all the way through. So we're talking last century dollars, somewhere in the 90s. When I got to $400,000 worth of revenue, I said, something's happening on those Fridays. These are fantastic organizations to really not only build your business, but the other thing that I really enjoyed out of it was the accountability of the other professionals in the group, that I knew that they were go-to referral sources because I wasn't just a customer.
Right.
Yeah, these are great. I'm sure you're getting the same experience.
Yeah, now we're in a different one. The new one I'm in is a Teams group. The one before that was Synergy, and Rand was in our group for a while.
Oh, okay.
I know he's retired now, but
Well,
it's just you guys for a while. He's still there. Yeah. I chat
he's
with them
still
once in a
here.
while. But I'll tell you, it takes a special person to do family law. I mean, I did it for a few years, and it's not my cup of tea. I
No,
do the civil
it is.
litigation
Yeah,
part.
I agree. It's not for everybody. It's a certain type of delicate approach to try to transition a family. At least the right way is to try to transition them with preserving as much dignity and their money as possible. I mean, I try everything I can. Like, I really don't want your money. I want to get you to the other side of this.
Hmm.
But somehow that third grade math of dividing by two just really becomes problematic for some people. So they get it when the pie is a lot smaller. Then they can see, oh my goodness, we need to do something here. It's you know, I just wish it were easier, but sometimes it's not. And I like the fact that we have the capacity to take it whichever way it comes. Like, I'm doing one now up in Inyo County of all places, where immediately we're coming in to place a receiver to take over about 17 businesses that this couple owns, because one is just a bully and the other one is my client. So we have to immediately go in and level that playing field. So
Yeah,
it's fun. I mean, it's rewarding. Like I said, you get to stand up again for the little people. I remember meeting you. I think I was an arbitrator or mediator in your case way, way back.
oh yeah, I remember
And
that.
I was impressed because it wasn't a big case, but you were one of the most prepared attorneys to lay out your case in an argument as to why your client was entitled to a certain type of award. And it always, I mean, it stayed with me. I don't know how many years later it is now, what, 30 plus years later. I remembered. I
Well, thank
remembered
you.
that out of
Yeah.
the thousands of these I probably mediated or arbitrated, as an officer of the court, that was a standout.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
So right now the firm's going strong. How many attorneys and staff do you guys got?
We're 13 attorneys, and with staff, we're somewhere pushing about 30.
Okay.
And we're looking. So, I mean, if you have this similar passion for family law, or you're a true courtroom lawyer in civil, we'll teach you family. But I mean, there is a civil side to our practice. So
Yeah.
we do these Marvin claims, the so-called palimony. They're fun. And those are regular civil cases. So we have some crossover. But yeah, we're 13 on the attorney. We could easily use two more, and we'll see where we go from there.
Okay. And obviously, you guys handle cases all throughout. It's not just the local Santa Clarita area.
Correct. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have another big office in Calabasas.
Oh,
Um, yeah, we're generally focused in Los
mhm.
Angeles, but we can wind up, like, as I have this big Central California case.
Yeah. I think the
They're all
last
over.
time I saw you was the installation at the bar association in the valley. I think was it Steve who was going to become the president?
Oh, Matthew.
Matthew, sorry, Matthew.
Matt Bredden, yeah. So, right, that was the San Fernando Valley Bar Association. I mean, one of the things that I'm proud of is that, the firm does have a big outreach program. It tries to be very supportive of our colleagues in the law community. So, we're heavy participants in statewide bar activities, county bar activities. Like, Matt Bredden, a shareholder here, was president of San Fernando. Former associates were multiple presidents of Santa Clarita. Um, and that's our colleague outreach, and then we do a lot of community outreach because we love our community.
Okay. So do you? I don't know if you have a preference as far as being the petitioner or the respondent in a divorce case. The
Yeah,
person who brings
it's
it.
no, no, no. The only advantage, I think, that so the petitioner is the person who files the papers to begin with, and when it comes to the handling of the case, there really is no advantage. but I mean, from a personal standpoint, the petitioner actually knows that I've declared that this marriage is over and I'm going to do something about it. So there could be an emotional advantage
Hmm.
in doing that, or for some people, it could be empowering. Like, we've talked about this for a period of time, and it's like now, I want to have this discussion, and it's like falling on deaf ears. You're not interested in working on the marriage. So you know what? I'm actually going to do something about it. So it can startle some people, and the respondent. So the respondent is the other side of the case that gets served with the papers. Sometimes the reality is they're completely in the dark, meaning I had no idea. You would think
Yeah.
that your spouse is that unhappy that they're going to file to dissolve the marriage, that you would have some idea, but some really are just emotionally not prepared to move forward with it. So, when I'm representing a petitioner, depending upon I can assess how the respondent is going to be,
Hmm.
I prepare them that there's going to be a little bit of emotionality going to be coming from the other side. Give them some time. Give them a little bit of time to emotionally come to grips with it, because it's kind of hard to move the ball forward when somebody's becomes so emotional. Again, trying to transition a family into a two household model and preserving dignity. Uh, you want to find, I call it, smooth sailing. So you're looking for fair wind to sail. If it's stormy because the other one's so emotional, just take it safe harbor and let the storm pass, and then move on. Um, it's when that
Yeah.
happens that I buy houses in Europe.
Yeah, I can imagine it's going to be emotional for everybody, including the attorneys sometimes.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's there are those that play in the area, and some who stay in the area, and they over identify,
Yeah.
um, and that's problematic because it's not their fight. They're I mean, you're a lawyer, so we have principals and agents. Attorneys are agents. The
Yeah.
boss is the client. They're the principal in the transaction. We're representing them, but we're not them. So, I mean, if you're advocating from a standpoint of this is what happened and this is what your client did, then you're out of line, because the truth is, you don't know.
Hmm.
I had this conversation with Terry. I had one with it last week. I said, listen, this is as far as I'm willing to go. I agree that that's what your client told you. I'll agree to that. I'm not going to agree that that's the truth,
Right.
but I'll agree that that's what your client told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Totally. Yeah, like I hear that from adjusters sometimes, and I go, "Yeah, I sure I'm no your insurer told you that, but that doesn't mean it's the truth." But yeah, I know
Exactly.
exactly what you mean.
Exactly. In the old days when I did that kind of work, I'd love one of my favorites was there was an insurance company that was notorious for lowballing. So
Yeah.
our investigator had a recording of the defendant, motor vehicle case driver, admitting that he screwed up and it was his fault. This notorious insurance company, of course, defended the case
Yeah.
and took the position that it wasn't his fault. And I drove the case into a binding arbitration. So, like, avoiding a trial, but we picked a retired judge.
Right. Right.
Play the recording. The voice is booming. The judge is turning red. The other attorney, the sweat becomes visible on his forehead and starts pouring down as I listen to this tape where the guy is admitting his fault for the accident. So yeah, we do have clients who will say
Yeah.
whatever it is that they want to say, but it's not necessarily true.
Do you have an advice for anybody out there who may be thinking about filing, not sure maybe what they should do or anything?
Yeah, I mean, there's life events. So within my realm of like family law, marriage, family, whether it's a non, you know, there's plenty of times that you should at
Mhm.
least talk to a lawyer because you don't know. Give me a second. This is
Yeah,
a good.
yeah.
Okay, so let's say you get married. It's going to be a big deal, and you don't have a premarital agreement, which might be 10 to 40 pages long. That's your contract. Let's
Mhm.
say you don't have that, you just get a license and you get a ceremony. Here's your contract.
Got it.
That's a lot of provisions, which will apply. That's the law now of your marital relationship. Going to get married, because most people, if they're marrying, because marriage rates have been on a rapid decline, as well as the divorce rates, thank God.
Mhm.
Um, so people are getting married further into established careers. Premarital agreement. Talk about it. The
Yeah.
best thing about going through a premarital agreement is you and your intended will talk about a fairly important issue called
Okay.
money. Like how are we going to operate now as a couple, a business? How is that going to operate? So whether you actually have a premarital agreement or not, you should certainly have the conversation as to what that is. Um, During
Does
a
your
marriage, life
yeah.
events, I'm going to buy a house.
Mhm.
How are we going to buy this house? Well, I just received this inheritance. A number of things, big transactions. Talk to the lawyer. 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Okay.
Just know what the hell you're doing.
Does your firm do premarital agreements?
Yeah, we do. We do.
Okay.
So the other big one is, well, we're not going to get married. We're just going to live together. Okay. And that goes into our like palimony and Marvin stuff because if you do it and you don't have your cohabitation agreement, or you don't have these discussions and have it memorialized, and you could be walking into um, a lawsuit sounding in, this
Mhm.
palimony, Marvin, or, implied agreements of continued support or joint ventures or any other type of crap.
Right.
Um, they're a big deal. I mean, you step wrong into a Marvin case and it can be quite costly.
Yeah, that's what. Go with the professional. Go with somebody who knows what they're doing. Absolutely.
It's
Makes
a
all the work.
30
Yeah.
minute discussion, and if there's enough risk to mediate it or mitigate it with a written agreement, then just get it done.
Yeah. And if somebody wanted to get a hold of you or your firm to discuss this stuff, what's the best way of doing that?
Call us. You know, it's we're easily identifiable, all over the place. 66 out here, it's easy, 661-288-1000. That tells you how old we were. Like when I called the company, like, what number do you want? Well, I'd like one of those ones, like 1,000. Sure.
Do you guys still have the divorce digest online? You guys used
Oh
to
yeah.
have that?
Oh yeah. 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 That's it. I mean, it's gone through many iterations, of course, over the years. So yeah, it's still divorcedigest.com. That's out there. Yeah, we're
Okay. And the website is for you guys. Is it Reape-Rickett?
no, no,
What's the website?
it's divorce. Yeah,
Oh, it is
it's
the
called divorcedigest.com.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Got it.
I mean, I guess that works better for algorithms when people are doing their keyword searches and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Just what do you like to
Wow.
do when you're not practicing?
Wow.
I
You
know you're
know,
on social media. I see you all the time.
yeah, I guess my social media presence is more about pushing the line on, what's offensive as compared to funny.
Yeah.
I use my 93-year-old mother as sort of like my motivation. I think, if she reads it and thinks about disowning me, I think I've hit my zone. So if you wanted to know what was going on with my post as compared to whether or not, oh, geez, this guy's really nuts, uh, that's really where I'm coming from is
Yeah.
to do that. So yeah, if it makes somebody's day, and I get oftentimes comments back. The funniest is there's a lot of judges who are aware of me, and they come up to me and say, I love your stuff, but I could never like it. Like, I said, yeah, I get it. I understand that. Uh, yes, wow. I got lucky because I never intended to be a lawyer, but somehow I caught a bug. So I have a real passion for the law, and studying the law was never an effort or anything. It was just something that was a craft. So fundamentally knowing what the law was, and then how to use the law, and then how to appear in a courtroom, and how to do so much of his stuff, how to grow eyes in the back of your
Hmm.
head so you know what the gallery is doing on the side of your head so you can see the jury while you're doing stuff. Um, all of that was just fascinating. Outside of that, gosh, I love to travel. I love culture. I love history, music, music, music. I am the type of person who, if I want to see something, will get on a plane
Hmm.
and go to a different city to go see what it is that I want to see. Um, I've been trying to play guitar, so let's see, I'm only probably a little bit over 60 years into it. One of these days, I think I'm going to get like at least rhythm down, um, but I'm still working on it. Um, I'm a voracious reader, love reading. Movies, arts, everybody's a foodie, right?
Yeah.
So
So,
do that kind of stuff.
what's your favorite place that you visited?
Breathtakingly beautiful, Alaska. Alaska's a great place to go out and just disappear into wilderness. Um, New Zealand had that type of opportunity too. Uh, I went to New Zealand during the time that most people don't go because southern hemisphere, so the seasons are reversed. So
Yeah.
my son and I went in July because we were jonesing too much to find snow and do some winter snowboards. So we flew to New Zealand and you know went snowboarding in July in New Zealand, which was awesome. Uh, and then more recently, uh, walked the Camino de Santiago, Portugal into Spain. Uh, Santiago is a village town in Spain, and it is a place where the cathedral is
Hmm.
supposed to be the burial place of St. James, who was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus, and somehow the story goes that his remains wound up there. So the northern route goes through from France down over the Pyrenees to Santiago. The southern route goes from Lisbon to Porto and then to Santiago. And it's a
Hmm.
great journey to just put your clothes in your backpack and go walk a few hundred miles and, you know, do your thing.
Yeah.
So I did that last May. Um, Looking forward to, I'll do something again this May along the same lines. I'm young
Uh,
enough that I can still do it. So I'm going to do it for as long as I can do it.
yeah, you know what? Somebody told me this, and I tend to agree with this. Do your travels when you're younger? Because everybody says, I'll travel when I retire. By then, stuff's going to happen. You're going to be, either
It's,
health wise, financial wise, you're not going to be able to do it.
I agree. And there's so much, so much to see and experience. And the reality is, I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
you use your youthful body and keep your body youthful
Yeah.
because it certainly pays off. But like when I did this Camino walk, the last 100 kilometers were almost like they were hellish. I mean,
Yeah.
that was hard. We had it's, severe elevation changes, but you just take your backpack and keep
Right.
on walking.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah, so sometimes hard is worth
Yeah.
it.
So I asked this question from everybody who or as a guest on my podcast. If you could go back and tell your younger self something, an advice or whatever, what would you say to your younger self?
Fear not. Fear sucks motivation away from people, hesitation. Um, believe in yourself, and stop questioning, and just keep going and keep doing. Certainly take care of your body,
Hmm.
take care of yourself, but believe in yourself. And whatever your passion is, find that passion, because it's no longer work at that point. It's passion. And if
Right.
you could meld your what you need for your existence on this earth with your passion, you're great. Pursue happiness.
Okay.
Screw everything else. It's ridiculous. I'm at and I'm at
I
this phase
like
in
it.
my life where I'm a minimalist. So I've given away all my music. I've given away most of my library. I've given away most of my stuff. My girlfriend is like, it's interesting. We have like this massive closet, and I'm down to like these two little racks here, and like, 7 t-shirts. I love it. It's so great to not be possessed by my possessions, because you know what, they're meaningless in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pursue people, pursue happiness, be good, be kind, it pays back, be generous. Forget it. You get back way more than you give. It is kind of interesting. You reach a certain thing and you just keep on
Yeah.
giving it away, and it's like it just keeps on coming back. Like it's almost a never ending cycle.
Yeah. Well, I like that. That's a good thought. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we end this?
No, I think that's it. But this was a lot of
All right.
fun, Mason. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Of course. Thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Take care.
Okay. Okay.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.